you've got any money left, a really smart thing to do is to invest in online advertising and in particular social media advertising. So I'm sure you've all heard the phrase that Facebook is no longer free, it's a pay-to-play platform. And actually, utilizing platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and advertising content to land in the feeds of your desired target audience is one of the best things you can do in social media because organic reach is at an all-time low. So again, what does that mean? Well, it means back in the day where if you had 10,000 followers on Facebook, 10,000 people could potentially see your content. Now, less than 1,000 people, less than sometimes 500, sometimes less than 100 people are seeing your content. The algorithms have been crunched so hard because there's so much competition now. So what's happening is in the feeds, Facebook is only putting the very, very best content in there. The things that are getting clicks, likes, comments, shares, saves, and not only something that's had a few likes, but something that's had engagement in a very short amount of time as well. So the faster your posts receive that engagement, the better they will perform organically. However, Facebook is probably the platform which has suffered the most in terms of organic reach. And now, if you're not using social ads, it's really difficult to grow a Facebook page. So if you've got people saying to you, why haven't we got more likes on Facebook? Really, it's, well, why aren't we investing in Facebook advertising? Platforms like Instagram, you can still grow organically, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of hashtag research. It takes a lot of activity every day, making sure you've got the stories out, making sure you're trialing some of the new features like IGTV, because Instagram is looking to see if you're using their full suite of products, and if you are, you'll get bumped up those news feeds. So I don't want to depress you all, because actually advertising is so interesting. You can do some really clever things with advertising. Just think, we've all been using Facebook for well over 10 years now. They know so much about us, not just through what we've inputted into our profiles. I mean, I don't think I've put anything in my profile on Facebook for years now. Remember when you had to fill out what bands and movies you liked? But Facebook is analyzing what you click on, who you're DMing. It's looking at who you're with in a current room. So I'm sure you've all seen on Instagram, sometimes your feed will show you something you've literally just been talking about with a friend. And that's no coincidence. It's because they know exactly what we're interested in. They know what we've been saving. They know what we've been WhatsApping. And they have so much information about us that's all at the fingertips of marketeers. So let's start looking at some Facebook ads then. I'm sure you've all seen Facebook ads in your news feed. In fact, they're often in position 1, 3, 5, 10 in your feed as you're scrolling through. And actually, Facebook ads work extremely well, particularly if you're offering something of value to your audience. So in each of these adverts that I selected that I've seen live over the last couple of weeks, there is something in it for the customer, whether they are a new customer or whether it's keeping your current customers loyal. There is something here for everybody, whether that's an offer, a free burrito, or a particular discount or coupon on a certain offer. Each of these ads is also very eye-catching. So remember that Facebook is predominantly a white platform, so you want to make sure that you've got bright, engaging imagery that's being utilized, and all of this content is well branded as well. It looks professional. I could probably tell you that Pizza Express logo if you covered up who the advertiser was, not just through the logo, but also through the word dough balls as well. So owning a particular product there. Let's have a quick look at some Instagram ads as well. Now on Instagram, we know you can advertise in the feed. You can also advertise in stories. You can also advertise in Facebook stories as well. So some of the features that are working well on Instagram is that kind of beautifully styled image, maybe something that relates to your audience's lifestyle. So Hoxton Hotels did quite a clever ad campaign where they were offering reasons why you might book a last-minute room at the Hoxton, and they were targeting people who lived in the local area. So there's some really clever targeting options you can now use. One of the things that I will say, which some of you might find controversial, is boosting posts. Boosting posts is the easiest form of advertising on Facebook. Someone called it to me the other day, which I quite like, Facebook advertising for dummies. It's so easy to do. It takes a couple of minutes and everyone does it, because boosting posts means you're going to get more engagement on a particular post. But actually, the really clever stuff on Facebook all happens in Facebook Ads Manager. Ads Manager is the slightly corporate-looking back end of Facebook, where you control adverts that are actually going to get shown in not just the news feed, but Messenger, or what Mark called the creepy adverts earlier. This is where you control your Instagram story ads. And this is where you will soon be able to control your WhatsApp ads. So if you haven't created an ads manager for your business yet, this is something you absolutely need to do. I will come back to Ads Manager in a second. Boosting posts is fairly simple. You take a post which you've done on Facebook or on Instagram, and you look for that blue button underneath which says Boost Post, or on Instagram it's called Promote. You put a small amount of ad spend behind that post, and that post will then get shown into your desired audience's newsfeed. There's one important thing to remember about boosted posts, and that is that they were originally created to drive more engagement. So really, boosted posts are for when you want more likes, more comments, and more shares on a particular post. What they are not great for is driving traffic off Facebook or off Instagram. So if you're thinking, why haven't we got more bookings? Or why haven't people clicked on our website when we've boosted this post? The reason is because boosted posts, because they're cheap, really all they're going to get is a bit of extra engagement for you. Now, sometimes that is good. Sometimes you do want a bit of engagement on a post. You know, you want some competition entries, or you want as many people to watch a quick video as possible. So I'm not saying boosted posts are the wrong thing to do, but so many times I talk to businesses who say, we're boosting posts on Facebook, but we're not getting any bookings. We're not getting website traffic. We're not seeing the direct ROI. And that's because even on Facebook it says in very small writing, if you boost a post, you're doing this to get more people to see and engage with your post. But what they don't do is get clicks off Facebook to your website. So boosted posts is easy, but everyone does it. They're not great for driving traffic off Facebook or off Instagram. There are very limited targeting options when you're boosting posts. So really, you can only target people based on their age, interests, and location. You can't target custom audiences, so people who have already landed on your website or people whose email addresses you have. And that's where the magic comes in Facebook advertising. There's also limited ad scheduling options. So on the right-hand side, you can see this ad schedule where you can choose a half-hour window for your ad to be live. You can't do this on boosted posts. So when you boost a post, your post will go live as an ad over the next however long you want it to go live for. It will be shown at 3 in the morning. It will be shown at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. So these might not be times that are so relevant for your ad to be live. Whereas if you use Ads Manager, you can be extremely targeted using your budget in exactly the right way it was intended. It's also quite hard to split test and control budgets using boosted posts. So what you can't do is A/B test 2 different pictures or two different creatives, you know, video versus an image. You can't trial one audience group, such as men in Manchester versus females in London, with a boosted post. So you're certainly not going to learn a lot about your audience. And so my key tip for you is, if you're thinking about really investing in Facebook and Instagram ads this year and going into next year, use Facebook Ads Manager. It offers you better targeting options, historical information for benchmarking, so you can go back and look at engagement rates or look at click-through rates of previous campaigns. You can see how much a cost per click costs you on average as a business and compare that to future campaigns. And also it gives you much greater control over your budget. So when you set up a Facebook ads campaign, you'll be asked a very important question. What's your marketing objective? And so this is the most important area to get right when you're setting up ads. If you want people to come to your website, you need to click traffic. If you're looking for views of your video, click video views, etc. This is telling Facebook how to optimize your ad. So if you click traffic, your ad will be shown to people who are likely to click on an ad and leave Facebook. It's not going to waste budget on people who don't tend to click on links and leave Facebook. So Facebook is a really clever tool that will actually only show your ad to people who are likely to meet your marketing objectives. So what makes a good ad then? Well, as we saw in some of those examples, a lot of it comes down to eye-catching creative. The second thing is making sure that your ad is extremely relevant to the audience that you are targeting. Now, relevance could be it's targeting people in the right area. The ad is targeting people at the right time. So you're not advertising a Sunday roast on a Tuesday, for example. It could be that you're targeting people that you know have already come into your business. They've physically been into your location and they have already enjoyed a meal or a drink with you, and perhaps you're trying to get them to rebook. And also, finally, a good advert comes down to your landing page as well. So if somebody clicks on an ad and they're taken back to your website, they want to feel like they're in exactly the right place, the place they were meant to be. So if you're offering them a coupon, free dough balls, you want to click on that ad and go back to exactly the right landing page which has that coupon form, perhaps where you fill out the information there. So don't send people off to pages which aren't going to make sense to them, because let's be honest, if you click on an ad in Facebook or Instagram and you are led down the path to a website that doesn't look like it's in the right place, what do? You come out of that window and you go back to Instagram and keep on scrolling. So landing page is so important. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. One of the things that Facebook is saying over and over at the moment is Facebook wants you to use content that's going to be extremely eye-catching to people. And a way of making it eye-catching is through movement. So a very, very quick moving ad will certainly raise someone's attention. So the second thing that I would definitely think about when it comes to a good advert is targeting people who have already shown interest in you. This is called a custom audience. So if you may have heard this phrase before, but a custom audience is where you develop an audience on Facebook of people who've already engaged with you, they've been on your website, or you've got their email address. You can create custom audiences of people who've come and visited your Instagram profile over the past year. So you can go back 365 days. Anybody who's just simply looked at my Instagram profile. And these are brilliant ways of using Facebook and Instagram ads, as opposed to just guessing. I think they're going to be 20 to 25. I think they're going to be based in London. I think they like hamburgers. So you can be much more confident with your targeting options by using custom audiences. So I'm going to give you a few tips very quickly. One of the most interesting things you can do at the moment, which I as a marketer am absolutely loving, is the ability to spy on all of the ads your competitors have live. So if you go to a Facebook page, about halfway down the right-hand side, there is a box called Page Transparency. So on KFC, you can see that just about halfway down on the right-hand side, there is a column with a little Facebook logo that says Page Transparency. You open this box and it will tell you how many ads KFC currently has live all over the world. You can look at the UK, you can look at any region. You open up this page and you can actually scroll through the ads. Now, one of the things that I can see KFC are really pushing there is this kind of bargain meal. But I can see they're definitely using Instagram stories for this because they've got that beautiful 9:16 vertical ad there. So that already tells me, okay, KFC are really investing in Instagram story ads. So there's quite a lot you can gather from having a look at this page transparency box. The other thing that I like to do is have a look to see if I can spot who they're targeting. So recently I was looking at Pret. I could see that they were targeting very specific locations in High Wycombe, for example, a new recent Pret. I could see that they were running some ads in the US. So they were talking about locations across the world. So this might give you, again, some clues as to who your competitors are targeting with Facebook ads. You can also do this on Instagram. So you would go to an account on Instagram, look for that option on the top right-hand corner, those three buttons, and click About This Account. This works sometimes and other times not, so it is a little bit buggy. I went for Fever Tree mixes, one of my favorite brands, and I could see they had some active ads live. So I opened those up and I could see this huge scrolling feed of live ads from Fever Tree. I could also see that they had some story ads live as well. So many businesses and brands are now using multiple creative, so multiple ads, to really test and learn what's working with their audiences, not just relying on one boosted post every couple of weeks. There's another example from Hilton. So I could see Hilton Hotels, exactly who they're targeting, which images they're utilizing. You can see they're testing outside the hotel, as well as pictures of the bedrooms. Tip number 2, set up your pixel. If you haven't got a Facebook pixel on your website, what are you doing? It's free, it's brilliant tracking. It's simply a HTML code which you can generate completely for free and very quickly in Facebook Ads Manager. You can even use the Send This Code to My Developer button, which automatically sends that piece of HTML to an elected email address, along with instructions on how to input it into your website. The thing you need to be aware of is if you're going to start gathering data about who's visiting your website and matching that data to Facebook users, you have to let people know you're going to do this because of GDPR. So make sure you update your privacy policy on your website to state that you will be using a Facebook pixel to gather data about your visitors. Now, people can opt in or out of that. If they don't accept the cookies, it means they won't be tracked. But if you're accepting cookies here, there, and everywhere on the internet, as I am, suddenly all these companies have your Facebook data. They can target adverts to you. So that's why you probably are seeing adverts of that holiday you'd like to go on, or that flight you would like to book, or even that pair of trainers you've been watching on ASOS for the last few weeks. There's some even more funky stuff you can do with your pixel. So once your pixel's in your website, you can use what's called a Facebook Events Manager, which is a very confusing term because they also have event pages where you opt into going to social events. But this is something completely different. Facebook Events Manager allows you to elect activities on your website as specific actions. So I can say that somebody who hits contact on my website becomes a lead. I can say that somebody who subscribes to my email newsletter has subscribed. And this means that when I run Facebook ads, not only can I see how many clicks they get, I can also see how many of those Facebook ad audiences have transferred into a lead or a contact. And that took about 5 minutes to set up. So there's some really cool stuff you can now do just by having a Facebook pixel on your website. Retargeting. So a huge amount of your consideration should be about loyalty. How do we keep getting people coming back and again to our restaurant, to our bar, to our pub? And retargeting audiences is one of the best ways of doing this, as I mentioned earlier. So using custom audiences. So this is where you upload your email database or you use tracking pixels, the Facebook pixel, to retarget people who have already opted in to some sort of marketing with your business. And then the clever businesses are using lookalike audiences. So a lookalike audience is an automatically generated audience that's going to be much, much bigger than your custom audience of people who are similar. They're similar to your website visitors. They're similar to your email database. They're similar to your Instagram viewers. And Facebook auto-generates it. So there's literally no work you have to do other than click a few buttons, and you suddenly have an audience of about 5 times bigger than your custom audience available for you to market to. So just to give you an example, using my own business, Avocado Social, I have a pixel on my website. Let's say you all come and visit my website, hopefully this evening. I've tracked you. You're my custom audience. I can run ads targeting you all next week, saying, come and download this free video, for example. And then let's say I've exhausted my budget on you. I think, okay, I want to launch a new campaign next week. I need some similar people to who came to my Propel Masterclass. I create a lookalike audience of all of you guys. And what Facebook will do is create a very similar audience to the people in this room. Now that could be based on location. It could be based on what you all click on. So let's say there's some common things between us all. Maybe we all visit certain websites. We all click on certain things on Facebook and Instagram. We're all following certain brands. Facebook will just generate an audience 5 times bigger that's similar to all of you for me. And then I'll be able to retarget stuff to them. So it's all fairly easy to set up within the back end of Facebook Ads Manager. It's in a section called Audiences. You can set up custom audiences and lookalike audiences. So there's some really clever stuff you can do now with Facebook ads. Tip number 4, try new formats. So I'll just very quickly show you these videos. Hopefully they'll play. Instagram story ads are some of the cheapest ads you can buy actually within Facebook. Remember the feeds, the news feeds, the traditional news feeds we all use, that's where the majority of people on Facebook are, so that can sometimes turn out to be the most expensive, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work. However, Instagram story ads, not as many advertisers are bidding on those, so they're actually some of the cheapest CPMs you can buy, cost per impression. What works? Very, very quick videos. So you haven't got a lot of time to engage someone before they flip past your story. So you want motion. You want something very, very quick, and hopefully something that's going to get someone to swipe up as well and go back to your website. So try new formats. There's a bit of information in here which has come directly from Facebook. They're actually saying ads under 15 seconds work best in the feed, and the top performing story ads are less than 10 seconds long. So it's all really, really quick now. If you're developing 60-second story ads, far too long. Tip number 5, ABC test. So don't just bank on one image and hope that that one image is going to develop lots of bookings for you. Try 3 different images. Really learn. Is it a picture of our barman? Is it a picture of our audience enjoying their cocktails, or is it a zoomed in picture of the cocktail that works best? This is a great way of getting learnings, not just for what works in advertising, but also could help you to decide on some of your other marketing campaigns. which images are people resonating with the most and which videos are people enjoying the most. So when I set up Facebook ads, I'll use many different images and really test and learn to find out which is the best. It's no extra cost to add 6 images to a Facebook campaign, so you might as well. And then finally, optimize your ad placement. So when you're running ads in Ads Manager, you get all of the results in this, as I said before, quite corporate, quite grey looking back end. But there's a huge variety of insights that you can look at here and explore. I'd really recommend using the drop-down menu on the right-hand side of the screen called Breakdown. And in this area, you can break down your ads based on age and gender, location, placement, which means where was the ad placed? Was it on Instagram, Stories, Messenger, Feed? And also you can even look at the timing. So did many people click on this ad in the evening? Was it at 2 in the morning? Was it at 6 a.m.? When did we get the most of our results? So I'm always optimizing by looking at the results in this breakdown section and then really starting to learn what has driven me the most leads, the most bookings, the lowest cost per click, for example. So just to wrap up then, 5 ways to make your ads convert. Spy on your competitors, utilize tracking, so set up your pixel correctly, retarget your customers, try new formats, video, carousels, story ads, and ABC test these as well. And optimize your ads for the right timing, placement, and audience. And just a bonus tip, don't go for the times that are most obvious. So actually, John Lewis came out a couple of weeks ago and said they're seeing a huge amount of traffic coming to their website in the middle of the night and are buying duvets. So it can be the most surprising times that actually your ads do convert. I'm just going to end very quickly, I know we're a little bit over, with a really quick case study from our friends at Wireless Social. So this is a great case study which the team at Wireless have shared with me and I thought was a brilliant example of utilizing custom and lookalike audiences to drive new sign-ups to a database. So Chilango were launching their new Birmingham store back in July, and the brand had gathered already 8,600 unique users who'd logged into their guest Wi-Fi at other locations powered by Wireless Social. 75% of those users had already opted in to receive marketing. So what Wireless Social did was they created a lookalike audience of those emails, and then they added on extra targeting to say they only wanted to target people in the Birmingham area and promoted a free burrito offer to them. What happened? In just 3 days, sign-ups for Chilango's opening burrito offer increased, achieving a 53.3% increase on the target. You can see the huge queue around the block as well for people queuing up ready to get their burrito. And this resulted in 2,300 additions to the brand's database, the email marketing database. So they had that brilliant ROI there. They had emails added to the database that they could continue to use.